Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Zulrah guide. This is the first guide I will be making on this YouTube channel since years, so please bear with me with my failures and I don't know. Alright, first thing that's always very important to know is the inventory setup. There are several things you can take for your gears. The best thing, in my opinion, is full void. With the toxic blowpipe. I use rune darts. You can always downgrade towards mithril darts, adamant darts. They work perfectly fine. In the entire kill I use several weapons, not just the toxic blowpipe. I used the dog bow as well on the blue phase to get some major damage in there. And I used the armored crossbow with ruby bolts during the melee phase. Reason for this being is that the ruby bolts just have a certain chance of activating, and that doesn't really look to the defense level of the monster. So I always have a very nice chance of actually hitting that nice 50 in the beginning, which really helps speeding up the kill. Now, if you do not have void, the best thing probably to use is Armadillo, and you can always downgrade, of course, along the way. Using Armadillo also opens the opportunity to use the Serpentine Helm. It does lower your range quite significantly. But hey, you're protected against venom and you don't need to use the anti-venom plus, which saves you some money in the long run. But yeah, using an armored helm is just about as fine. Now you can decide to use the Alpha Accumulator for the extra 3 range bonus. Alpha Accumulator gives +4, Fire Cape just 1. But that's entirely on your own decision. You don't lose the Fire Cape when you die. You do lose the Alpha Accumulator if you die. Or well, at least turns to coins. Also with this setup, I would recommend you to use the Toxic Blowpipe, since it's just an awesome weapon. It really kind of improves your kill by 30 seconds, I would say so, on average. Maybe 20-30 seconds, which is really nice. The only real downside, which you will see during the kill of the Toxic Blowpipe, is its range. And you will have to stand into the venom clouds at some point, taking some damage. But hey, it is definitely worth it. Alright, if you do not really have the money for the Toxic Blowpipe and you are down to using bolts, I would recommend using diamond bolts, especially in about a week time after the creation of this video, because they will probably be changing that you will not lose all your bolts, which is at the moment still true. You will lose all the bolts you shoot, and arrows and darts, whatever you throw at that snake will be taken into the void. So if you're really wanting to make a lot of profit each kill, at the cost of some slower kills, you can use bro bolts, maybe in combination with ruby bolts, but that's entirely on your own decision. I still recommend diamond, or with toxic blowpipe, at least mithril darts plus. But I will be using void, since this is my gear of choice, with the magic blowpipe. Alright, for the inventory, I always still take these 4 potions. I hardly ever use the brew and the restore. If your prayer level is slightly lower, you actually really have to take the super restore with you. The ranging potion is used once, sometimes twice if you really have to touch your brew, but that's about it. Of course, if you take the Serpentine Helmet with the Armadillo setup, you do not really need to bring the Anti-Venom Plus. However, if you're not using that helm, you are definitely going to need the Anti-Venom Plus. Do not even try to use the normal Anti-Venom, because it doesn't really do anything good. Yeah, it will cure it, but if you get hit again, you will be poisoned again, so it doesn't really work. Take yourself some Zulrah and their teleports. They are less than 1k each in a trading post. Don't walk there, that's just a waste of your time. 1k each for each teleport is just fine. And yeah, after a while you will have a shitload of them, so don't worry about that. Alright, other things I take is a dueling ring to get back to the duel arena. Some people use Clown Wars to regain their hit points in prayer, which can be pretty useful as well. But at a duel arena in World 18, there are a lot of people just getting the special back for PvP. And you can just exactly do the same, so you can get a full special bar back for every kill that you want to do. Which means you can use the dark bow twice instead of once at some point. Don't forget to bring some recolor rings. Always bring 2 in case one shatters. Just like this, it's still really full, but hey. The reason for the real color rings is for the little snakes. The snake boss will at some point spawn some little snakes, level 90s I guess, with 1 hit point, but they will do like 15 damage at some point, and you really want to protect yourself against that by using real color rings, because if they do damage on you, they will die themselves, so you don't have to waste your time on that. Alright, during a kill I will try to walk you through in one kill. I might fail completely because I will have to pay attention to the kill and talk, which is not always the best idea. So I will up front already tell you some things about the boss itself. Boss itself really has like 3 phases and 2 sort of routines it can do. The phases consist of a green one, the ranger, which might sometimes not even do any damage to you. It will just spawn some venom clouds and snakes. Well, at that point you might want to start using your real color ring before you start getting pounded by those little snakes. The red phase is the melee phase. You will have to dodge his attacks. I will show you later how to do that. You don't want to get hit by his melee because that will stun you and you will lose food and you cannot even do damage, and yeah, it's just a waste of your time. The blue one, however, is his mage, and this is where things get interesting. One, it is mage, so with range you will be able to hit very nicely, and also this is also the point where you start using your dark bow. Try to time your dark bow as your last hit on that phase, which might require some learning, but if you use it on the last phase, you use the most of that phase. If you use the dark bow right in the beginning, you're actually throwing away a lot of time in order to do hits. If you're using a crossbow, you can do 2 hits on rapid and then shoot with the dark bow, which should work fine. If you use a blowpipe, I think you can hit 4 times. Normally I do 3 hits just to be sure that I reach it, because if you miss the last hit, you're just throwing away extra time, which is a waste. In the fight itself, I will try to explain more about the phases during the kill, so that's where I'll be going now. And I totally forgot to mention the vengeance runes. Don't forget to bring them actually. You really want to use those, not gonna lie. They're really nice to use. If you time them perfectly in the beginning of the kill, you can actually eat a lot of hit points away from the snake. But yeah, that's some things that you gotta get used to be totally fair. It's not that difficult. Just try to time your vengeance whenever you think the snake is gonna hit you. Alright, when you enter here, don't forget to range up, don't forget to vengeance up, and let's go. First time you enter here, you have to do some conversations, but yeah, that's on your part. Don't forget to use Eagle Eye. Alright, as you can see, this is a yellow greenish one. It is the range version, but the first one will not even range on you. It will just spawn some venom clouds. You don't really want to stand in them. They will hit you quite hard. Alright, whenever this changes, it's the melee form coming up, the red one. And this is where my ruby bolts come in active, because they might have a chance of actually doing a 50 damage, which is really nice. And as you can see, every time you walk somewhere, he starts looking at you and you just gotta run away from that. Blue one, magic phase, really easy to kill. You might want to use protect from magic here, and my Fen of Vengeance didn't work, and I missed that one as well. Alright, so that's where things get interesting. You might want to be safe on yourself, and don't want to miss that dark bow spec, because you will lose a lot of damage with that. Alright, now from this point, 2 things can happen. It's either him spawning right here, which is rather annoying, because this is the range phase, which will both spawn snakes and do damage on you with range, and afterwards it will be a melee phase. Another thing that can happen during that phase is that it will spawn right there, which is very easy, because that will only spawn clouds and afterwards a mage. Right, so blue one again. Now I am going to use a dark bow spec. There we go. Which is fairly easy. Alright. The phase after this one doesn't really do anything to you. You don't want to be standing too close to it though, because then you'll be in the venom clouds. I always just stand on this spot directly. And don't forget to re-equip recoil rings whenever they shatter. Alright. After this one is the mage again. And of course, again, a nice hitting phase. Try to keep your hit points above 41. Very important. This one can hit 41 with a range attack. Although it's a major, it can still hit you pretty high. Alright, don't forget to run to the other side at this point, because you will have to prepare for its next phase. Its next phase is the most aggressive one, really. Like, look at that. A mage and a range and a mage and a range. You really have to learn this phase a little bit. It will always start off with range. Always. So that's really easy. And every time he does the attack, switch over to the other prayer. Always switch over to the other prayer. And you will actually, well, with this setup, you kill it pretty quickly. Double death runes. Alright. So, just to explain several things. Whenever a green phase spawns over here, at this place, it's the only thing that can spawn right here. He will use range attacks. He will use range attacks. If you pray range, he will not be able to hit you. Of course, there are some snakes hitting you, so please don't forget to boost up your hit points. Whenever something spawns here, it's either a range version or a mage version. Just stand right here or something like that, and you will be able to hit very nicely with the blowpipe. Sometimes there is a melee one spawning in the middle, which is not that difficult. Especially in the beginning, you can just use that spot over here, as I've shown in the beginning. You either just start standing here, and whenever he looks at you, you just shoot one bolt or a blowpipe thingy, and you walk over here and you will be fine. He will do that again, and you just walk back fairly easy. Whenever in the middle of the kill, you were probably seeing me standing right here and just not doing anything. And I'd imagine you were like, what are you doing there? Well, I'm not sure if this is a bug or just using the area. Let's just put it out using the area. But he will not be able to hit you right here. So you can just stand here, get yourself your armored crossbow out or whatever, and you can just hit just fine and nicely, which is very nice. Alright, I'm gonna try to do another kill after this one, which I will not do as quick as possible, so I can get further into the phases, and that will make things a little bit more clear on how to do things. Alright, so once again, when you reach for the boat again for your second kill, or I don't know, your 349th kill, fenge up, use your range potion again, as I always use a range potion every kill, and get your ass back in. Now, exactly the same as always, this phase doesn't really start with something else. Always with the potion phase, it will just spawn some smoke clouds, and well, yeah, it's a very easy start. The first three phases are actually always the same. Always a smoke phase, a melee phase, and then a mage. Now, as I said with the mage, you can choose to pray mage instantly, or don't use it, just to make it possible that he will hit you nicely on a vengeance, just like that. And then use your crossbow and try not to die right there. And don't forget to use your anti-venom if he does venoms you. Alright, range version again, standing right there, not here, so it is the not very useful phase, I would say. I think it's easier when it spawns right there, but hey. And again, don't forget to use your recoil rings. You can stand back and start ranging it right there. Doesn't really matter what you really do. You can stand in the smoke clouds, take some damage and do more damage with the blowpipe, or you can walk back. Alright, and I just hit a nice hit with the Revolt, that's very nice. Alright, after this one there will be a mage again, and as you see I can just stand here, can't do anything, so that's really nice. Alright, mage version, use your blowpipe again of course, hit several times, and you can take your dark bow out again and do your second special. This is why you use the dual arena, so you can spec twice in the kill. Now this phase, as I already showed, doesn't really do anything. I am gonna slow down on this kill because I don't want to do this thing too fast. It is a ranger, doesn't really do any range, just spawns clouds of smoke and snakes, really annoying really. And well, here we have our hitting phase again. Magic is always very painful. As I said, try to prepare for the next phase. Heal up, stand ready at this place, and get ready for that switcher. Alright. As always, start off with praying range and directly switch over to the next prayer once he has launched his attack. And I'm gonna use that one again. Right, in the end of this phase, he will start using the smoke clouds again, trying to annoy everything around him. So yeah, you can't really stand anywhere. I always just stand right here. Afterwards is the melee phase again, but now you can't really stand right there because there are smoke clouds. So you will have to take some damage from these clouds right here, but use the same tactic as the other side. Which is not that hard to do. Afterwards is a range phase. I will probably kill it this kill. Do remember that if you don't, there will be another melee phase with smoke. And after that is a mage phase. Like, yeah, it's not that difficult to remember, to be totally fair, but yeah, it's dead already. With this range phase, just pray range and you will be fine. Alright, did I miss anything? I don't think so. Do not forget to pick up everything. For people saying, oh, why don't you take the Zulrah teleport? This one is not really pick upable. It's on the floor, and if you press it, you will just leave the instance. I don't think I missed anything. If it's mage, alright, let's talk through the prayers really. If it's doing a smoke round like the green version that doesn't do any range, like when it's the first time spawning right here, or at some point, like in the last time, he first did some range attacks, but then he started spitting out some smokes. You can actually turn off your range protect to save some prayer. Doesn't really matter because he doesn't do anything on you. But yeah, prayer is not really the limiting factor for me. And you can also just use a super restore or prayer potion. It doesn't really matter that much. When it's doing Miss Mage or the blue one, don't forget to pray mage. You can of course just turn off your mage protect to use the vengeance. This is all on your own. You might die because of that risk. I've had it multiple times that he just starts hitting like, I don't know, 40, 30, 40 and then, well, kills you. So yeah, that might be painful. Do remember that this range attack can hit a 41 and he can just range all the time. It's not that uncommon that he does like 3 range attacks in a row, which can actually kill you. So yeah, don't forget to keep your hit points up a little bit high. And as I said, don't forget to look at, well, the game really, to see whether your ring of recall has shattered. As I said, you can use the dual arena to get your hit points and prayer back and special. You can just be lazy and use the Clown Wars, which will give back your hit points and your prayers, which is not a big problem, I would say so. But yeah, you do not have the full special bar attack, which might just run you into problems. I did slack in the end, so do remember that I would have had like 50% when I was at the bank, which will mean that I will not be able to use the second special attack earlier in the kill. Possible drops, which is not that well, possible drops are not that cheap actually. Zulrah skills, you get a lot of Zulrah skills. I got more than 120k in, well, 350 kills. Runite ore is very expensive. Nice seeds. Rune Heli is more of a troll drop in my opinion. It's not very common, but hey, it's still like 160k ish. Snakeskin bad drop. Swamp Tar bad drop. Torstals very nice drop. Spirit seeds, if you have the farming level, you can use it for your farming, which is not too shabby. It drops a fair amount of dragon bones. I sold like 500 of them. That's not bad. Dorsal seeds, a really nice drop. Crystal key, fairly common drop. Mahogany planks, coconuts, dragon ball tips, all very nice drops to get. And there are magic locks as well. I'm not sure why they are not here. Let's just put them over there. There we go. Other noticeable drops, which are very nice, is the Magic Fang. I haven't got one yet. It's an add-on on Trident, all the stuff of the dead, which will make them better. With the Trident, you get like 3 more Venom's victims. For the stuff that is only an increasement of the magic attack. It doesn't really hit higher. But hey, it does look more cool, and it can venom your opponents. The helm I already kind of discussed. It's from the Visage drop, the Serpentine Visage. I'm not sure where it is. I just totally lost it. Rip. Disturbance Visage. You have to fill it with skills. It's a nice item in slot for strength. It's a +5 in strength. Yep, which is the best in game at the moment. Provides nice defense. Defense comparable to Barrow's items, and it will give you immunity to poison and venom. Pretty useful at DKs, I would say, so if you're off task. Not too bad, not too bad. Another item is the Toxic Blowpipe. It will be dropped as a Tanzanite Fang. Chiseled into a Toxic Blowpipe will be the best ranged weapon in the game for now. It is nerfed in PvP, but it's still very overpowered in PvM situations, because it's really fast, really accurate, and just a very overpowered weapon. I even use it at Ceradomin and it works just about fine. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. It is my first video since a really long time. I will be continuing making all these kind of guide videos about bosses, about how I do them. Of course, the entire YouTube section is already filled with a lot of videos about RuneScape, but I sometimes use new techniques or some things that aren't really known in the community, and I'll be ready to spoil them for everyone. So please subscribe on this channel as well. If you didn't even know about me, I am a live streamer on twitch.tv at the name of Thoboy. Feel free to come and watch it at that live stream sometimes. Cheers, guys.